What's up? So if you're coming back, if you're returning, welcome back. If it's your first time, this is a different conversation than I usually have. But yes, I have hairy armpits. Go fuck yourself. Thanks for noticing. It's my birthday. Yay. You know, it's funny because I'm usually so positive too, and I got my, got my hair done today. But while I was getting my hair done, I was sitting, there's a place in Santa Barbara called the Virgil Cordero Community Center or something like that. And I've seen a number of videos. Oh, you know what? Last time I took a shower, I forgot my razor, okay? I actually have to take my razor in a bag. So stop talking about my fucking hairy armpits. The fuck? Or like thinking I don't shower, like. Anyway. I can hear that shit, so just stop. And it's funny because whoever's watching this video in the future, that's when that's actually gonna happen. So, okay, moving on. You know, I've been watching some. I don't even know if I watched them, but I was listening to them and reading. There was you know, text on the page, and it was talking about, you know, like the the homeless industrial complex, the same way that it talks about like the military industrial complex. And I was thinking about this today because I went to the Virgil Cordero Center, and I walk in and I understand like all of the things that they have in there make sense for certain things. Like there's one thing in particular that doesn't make sense. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, but like, and I find that it's everywhere. It's through all the services, you know, that are like available to people who are houseless. Excuse me. And I mean, like, I've thought about this many times, but I don't think I've ever really talked about it. Excuse me. They give people just enough to keep them houseless. That's what, like, Social Security, disability, all that shit, like housing, all of it is for. I remember growing up with my mother, we were always on welfare. I mean, most of my life growing up, we were on welfare. And we were getting food stamps and, you know, like that kind of stuff. And my mom was working. She wasn't lying about her wages either. She was working. She was getting child support. Of course, my stepdad paid check this out, $250 a month for my brother and sister. Yeah, tell me that's not some bullshit. And he kept taking my mom to court to try to get it reduced. He did. My stepfather, Thomas Neal, Boise, Idaho, motherfucker. Anyway, fucking what a prick. I mean, he really, like, made our life so much harder, and he's the one who left us. Like, I mean, I understand he left because of my mom, but, like, we suffered because of it, and I'm not his kid, but still, I listened to my brother and my sister, my younger brother and half brother and half sister, cry every fucking night for him for, like, a couple years after he left. It was heartbreaking. It broke my mom's heart, I know it did. I mean, it was heartbreaking to hear that, and there was nothing we could do. I mean, this motherfucker would barely send Christmas cards, let alone give a shit that his kids were crying. And like, I understand, you know, my mom drove him crazy, but like, why'd you marry her then? Stupid. You know, why'd you have kids with her? I mean, like, that, you know, those are legitimate questions, you know, it's like, it's not, you know, with all the different things available to us, it's like, I don't really understand why people do that. Anyhow, I mean, I understand shit happens, but like, there's a lot that you can do to make it not happen. A lot. Like, a lot. So, you know, not to say that kids are mistakes. That's not what I meant at all by that. So, you know, I'm sitting in the Virgil Cordero Center. And like I said, growing up with my mom, we were always on Puzo, like, but my mom had to report her income, of course. And, but in doing that, it was like, it kept us in this bracket, this financial bracket. of things that, like, and my mom would talk, my mom and I talked about it, because, like, when I was growing up, I knew when my mom couldn't pay the rent. I knew when the fucking utilities were turned off, and I knew why. For most of my life, when I was growing up, we lived in one house in particular on San Pasqual, and we had the utilities, at least one of the utilities, turned off every month. I mean, I would come home every Friday, and every Friday was like a dread day for me. Everybody else was looking forward to the weekend, and I was dreading what utility was going to be turned off this time. And I mean, often I got home before my mother did. So, you know, from school, she didn't get home till like 5 or 5:30, and I got home at like 3. So, you know, like, I had to, I walked my brother and sister home. I made sure they did their homework, like, to the best of my ability, and got the house cleaned up, because I knew if I didn't get the house cleaned up, my mom was going to scream at me. My mom was a screamer, and I don't mean like in the bedroom. I mean, like, you know, like, every day on the way to school. I mean, it was like that. Anyway, I'm not trying to badmouth her or anybody else. I'm just telling you. So, the thing about it was like, I saw it as a trap. Like, I saw it then, I see it now. I'm like, I feel really, like, sometimes I feel really powerless to get out of it, and I wonder, like, what the fuck? Like, how? And I've wondered this many times. It's not like the first time. And I remember, like I said, my mother and I used to have conversations about, you know, the fact that she felt trapped, financially trapped. And, you know, I think that you get to a point, you know, and I've been collecting disability, Social Security disability for a while, and it was all very, like, you know, it's all for legitimate reasons. Like, it wasn't because I was just, you know, too fucked up to work or whatever. It was just, you know, but then, like, what, go to a job? I mean, you know, even if I start working, like, I'll need, it gets to the point where it's ridiculous. I don't know how to get out of it, is my issue. I don't know how to get out of it. And I think that's what it happens to a lot of people. And it's not just with, Social Security and, you know, collecting some kind of benefits, which, like, I don't really see them as benefits, but, like, okay. I mean, you guys tax us and then tax us on top of the money that you tax us on, and then you tax us some more, and then you tax us again when we buy anything. Fucking we pay tax on the things we're buying from the paycheck that we were taxed on. Like, how many times are we paying taxes these days? Yeah, that's food for thought. I mean, it doesn't even logically make sense, you know. So I get a paycheck, they tax that, and then I go to a store and buy something, whatever, anything, a soda, a bottle of water, a fucking, you know, pack of cigarettes, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, and then I pay tax on that too. What? And if I sell something, I have to pay tax to sell it, and to, what? And the other person has to pay tax to buy it? How many, like, do you see what I mean? Like, taxes are, it's so, you know, like, you figure, like, you get a paycheck, just say you're working, say it's not even Social Security, and you to work, and, you pay, you know, at least a third of that income in taxes, you know, I mean, it's, if not more, it depends on which tax bracket you're in. However, it's like, how do you ever get ahead like that? Like, you have to have side hustles, there's all these different things, and, like, honestly, people are doing the same thing. Like, so many people are doing the same things, and so many markets are so saturated that it's hard to know where to get in. And if you're trying to just get in where you fit in kind of thing, then you're really just swimming with a larger school of the same fish that are doing the same fucking thing, maybe a little different than you're doing it. So how do you get ahead? You know, like, this is a legitimate question. Like, I'm asking myself this. I've been asking myself this for a long time. And, like, really the biggest reason I sit back on my laurels and don't do much of anything is because if I do, I mean, I just talked to an elementary school friend of mine. Like, I know her, and I've known her for a while. But there was a huge gap in there where we didn't know each other at all. But, like, we, you know, kind of found each other again. And this woman, she's about my age. We were in the same, grade in elementary school, and she's telling me they told her that she needed surgery on her back, and she was collecting Social Security disability like me, and they wanted her to get surgery, and she wouldn't do it. She said no. She was scared. She didn't have, she was living in her car. She's got a terrible problem with alcohol. Terrible alcoholic. Like, I mean, usually after at least half a day, she's shaking from not having enough alcohol. And, I know why she drinks. And so, I talked to her about it, of course, but I really leave her alone with it because it's something she needs to heal within herself. It's not something I can really help her with. I mean, in more indirect ways, yeah, but so she didn't get the back surgery, and all of her income is gone now, completely gone, because she wouldn't just go get, major surgery in her back, while living in her car with no family to support her, a lot like me in that way. She doesn't really have family like I don't, but I mean, she has people, but they're just like that, they're not there. And it's a different story altogether to have to get something like that done when you have no one to help you. On top of that, she's got 2 dogs that she treats pretty well. Surprisingly well, actually, but the male dog of the 2 she really loves, and I know that she has them a lot for emotional support, and a lot of the reason I have Bella, and or had, what the reason I got her in the first place, I guess, but I'm very much her emotional support too, but and she has no money now. She left the state. She's got a sister out of state that can help her. And, she's doing much better. But, at the same time, she's broke. She's completely broke. And not because she left the state either, but because she wouldn't get the surgery done. And it wasn't because she was out of state either. It was simply because she just didn't want to get it done. She was still in town. And she was still in town when they told her she had to get surgery. And she just said, no, I can't do it. And so they took away her income was taken away. And it's like, when you're facing that kind of cutoff, I can only imagine, I haven't put myself in that position. So, I mean, not that she really had a choice, but, I stress so hard sometimes, or at least I have, I have stressed so hard, so deeply on how much or how little money I have. And, how frustrating it is to think that, and I know that I've met people, before that have told me this, and they say this to me. They say, you're such an intelligent person. How can you not, I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you living in your car. I don't feel sorry for you. I believe you could do better for yourself. And I'm like, I totally agree with that. However, at the time I was so emotionally fucked, that I really couldn't do what I needed to do. I really couldn't. I really didn't have the wherewithal to do it. And I know I'm not the only one. I know that other people have been in that same situation where they're literally just emotionally fucked up. Just fucked up. Period. Not horribly fucked up, but fucked up to the point where they get to a certain, plateau. They get to a certain point and they plateau in their work or whatever it is, and then they backslide. And I get that. It's a real handicap that people don't talk about. People talk about mental illness amongst people that are homeless. People talk about all kinds of other shit, drug abuse and everything else, but they don't really talk about the emotional issues that people are facing and have faced. And then it's on top of that, you add in other things, and you pop out a bunch of, substance issues along with mental health issues. And it stands to reason that the whole reason people are fucked up in the first place and can't get shit done is emotional shit. And I mean, it starts young. That shit is in your fucking face. I mean, it's so prevalent that I wonder if anybody really has much of a chance sometimes. And, I mean, like, the Matrix systems, the systems in, this 3D realm that are built on the Matrix are so fundamentally fucked. Like, in so many ways. Like, I'm sitting in the Virgil Cordero Center today, and it's like, I'm looking at this, and it's like, I understand why they have the leg lift chairs, like, the chairs that, like, you can put your feet up. Because most people have been on their feet for so fucking long, because that's what you do when you're homeless. You're on your feet all the time. Or on your butt. And it's like, there's not much else to do, and it's like, I've thought about going back to school, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if I take, summer classes might be decent, weather, but like, where am I going to put my dog? I can't just leave her in the fucking car, like, how am I supposed to do that? And I mean, I've thought about that many times, I should go back to school, go back to the university, go back. And then I'm like, oh, well, yeah, there's one huge reason why it's her, and in the summer, I mean, the keeping food and shit like that, like, I cannot do that with the car. I can't do that with a hot car. I can't do that at all. So it's like, okay, we'll eat out, and that's so much, you see, it's a trap. So I don't know how to get out of that. I don't know how to do it without any support. I mean, I have no family. None. Like, at all. None that will help me, none. And I really like family that could help me, sure, but family that will help me, no. That are alive, yep, but no, I don't have anyone that will help me that I know of. No, never. No, never. So I wouldn't say never, but like, not since I've been an adult, no. So, back to the trap thing, I see it in so many people, and it's like, it not only tends to lock you into a kind of like socioeconomic status, but it also tends to lock you into this, well, by definition, that it locks you into this financial bracket that you're like, you're fucking stuck. And, like, for me, it's really frustrating for me, and it always has been, because, like, I'm a very talented artist. I'm just a very talented person in general, and I know that there are a lot of people like this that really can't do the things that they want to do, or really don't know how to do the things that they want to do. They really just aren't, they just don't know how, how to make that work, because they simply don't have the resources. That's been like the story of my whole fucking life. I mean, really, really, really not having the resources to get things done. And it's made me an extremely resourceful person. However, there are a lot of things. I mean, I'm a really, really resourceful person. However, there's still this like glass ceiling that it's like, it's like imperceptible until you bang your head on it a couple times. And, even then, unless you're like right there, you kind of tend to forget it's there for your own sanity, because you really don't want to feel like it's hopeless. You don't want to feel like you're working for nothing. You don't want to feel like you're, banging your head against the wall kind of thing and getting nowhere. And like, cause that bangs you back into the fucking emotional bracket of bullshit that you had to get out of in order to even do okay for a short amount of time. It's like, what the fuck? How the fuck am I supposed to even fucking do this? And like, I can only imagine, like, I watched my mom struggle as a single parent for my whole life. And she died with nothing, and my mom worked hard. My mom always had a job. Until she met that man, Lawson, she always had a fucking job. Always. Mom was always working full time. She always had a job. And she did well at her job. She always did really well. Her employers liked her. She worked long periods. She didn't like have a lot of, she had a lot of jobs, but she didn't, oh God, excuse me, itchy nose. She didn't, bounce around between jobs. She had a job and she'd work it for a couple of years and then find something that paid her more, if her current employer wouldn't give her a raise kind of thing. I mean, that's how my mom did it. And, she was a bookkeeper, and God, her job was boring as fuck, because I worked for a lot of the same places that she worked for. And, I mean, I had jobs from the time, I had odd jobs, under the age of 15. And by the time I was 15, I went and got a job at some pizza place. And, it was Valentino's Take and Bake in Santa Barbara, California. But I went and I got that job. And I mean, I remember getting my paychecks and just being like, you know, for the rest of my life, like, what? I remember then thinking, you know, because on jobs that I did, it was either like in exchange for favors, you know, kind of thing, or it was, you know, like something that we needed done, something I needed done, you know, people would help me with it, or it would be in exchange for money, you know, and that made a lot of difference to me. But when I started working just for money, I lost all value in money. I mean, I really stopped caring at all. And I know that, like, money is a concept, it's not an actual thing. Like, I mean, I know we have, you know, pennies and quarters and dollar bills and shit, you know, but like, what is that really? It's really a concept. So, you know, it's an energetic exchange. And I understand that, and like how to vibrate on the frequency of money, right? To, you know, to act as though you are abundant. So, you know, you really genuinely don't feel like you're going without. But honestly, when you're sitting in your car day after fucking day, and you have no bathroom, no kitchen, you know, you're watching your dog, she has no yard, you know, it's like there's just nothing to hang on to. You begin to wonder what the fuck you're, you know, doing all this good stuff for, you know. Like, I pick up trash on the mountain. Basically, I consider it my rent, because people up there know me, that when I go up there, that people tend not to bother me, and they tend not to bother me because they know that when I leave my camp spots, they're going to be clean, no trash, and I will have picked up the trash of other people. I usually walk way up the road and way down the road from where I'm camping, and I don't leave my shit, you know. So that makes a big difference. And when the residents know that you're up there for good, it changes the overall view for, like, everybody. And that's a good thing. You know, I really think most people are decent people. It's the few, and it's also the very entitled motherfuckers, whether they're wealthy or poor or fucking white or black or purple with pink polka dots, doesn't matter. Entitled motherfuckers are the ones who leave their trash. Anyway, I know this from experience. You know, but like me, I actually grabbed a rock from up on the mountain the other day, and I was going to take it to the paint place today and see if I can't get a paint match for it, because somebody graffitied all the fucking rocks up there where I tend to camp. And it's like, that's what I was going to spend my birthday doing, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Like, you know, I'm a really extraordinary and really awesome and really good person, not to mention a woman. And, what the fuck? Like, I really have no friends. I really have no family. What? Like, how did that happen? You know, like, genuinely, how did that happen? I'm thinking to myself, you know, the prayer that I prayed a couple years ago, and I got a clear answer on that too, really clear. And it just told me, you know, I didn't want you to have any vulnerabilities. And I'm thinking to myself, vulnerabilities for what? What does that even mean? And I'm still waiting for the fucking answer on that one. And keeping the faith through these times, this is hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking hard. And like, I don't feel like it. Like, I don't feel it. I don't feel good. I don't. It doesn't feel good to know that you're, like, totally alone in the world, and that, you know, and that the few people who do care about you are strangers from your GoFundMe account. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. I do. I very much appreciate anybody who even thinks about me in a positive way, you know, let alone actually wants the best for me. Like, that's amazing. It's amazing to have those people. Like, you can't replace that. So, I know, and I see people who have everything that they could ever possibly need, really. In any given moment, they have what they need, and they're miserable. And I'm thinking to myself, like, but those tend to be, in my experience, they tend to be the people who have more than they need. The people who have, and never learned to really appreciate it. Not really, no. They don't know what it's like to go without. They don't know what it's like to be hungry. They don't know what it's like to not have money to buy yourself food, to not, you know, they don't know what it's like to do the right thing. Ouch. They don't, something bit me. They don't know what it's like to do the right thing, and like, you know, I have to literally, I had to go without food for a long time after I lost my food stamps. And what did I do? I fasted, I prayed, I meditated, like, you know, the fuck? Most people don't do that. You know, I quit taking prescription medication. I quit, not that I should be like, you know, necessarily rewarded for, you know, getting my shit together, but like, really though, like, who does that? You know, like, picks up trash and like, you know, just like, I've been like a really, I've always been like that. I've always been a really good person, and I'm sitting here going like, what the fuck? You know? Like, what's going on? Like, why? You know, I mean, I understand the world's not a fair place, but come on. Like, my whole life has been like cursed, for lack of a better fucking word. Literally, for a lack of a better word, some of the shit that's happened to me, it doesn't even actually make any logical sense at all. None. It's like, I mean, it's almost as though I decided to pay off all my karma in this life, and then like continue to live in my car, fucking, you know, without a house, with my dog. Like, I really cannot. It's fucked. I'm not gonna lie. It's fucked in ways that I rarely admit. And most of the time I just keep myself, you know, very high vibrational, so that I can continue to, you know, kind of like go along in my do happy way, because I think that, you know, being really positive, it requires a certain amount of delusion. Not delusional like in some crazy way. I mean, like, you really have to look at things differently. You really have to see them differently. And if you don't, you're never going to be positive. Like, that's not how that works. So, you know, I've really like gone out of my way to do that. And, you know, in the past when I would be positive, there was always somebody there to knock me down. If it was my mom, I mean, she wasn't like a bad person or anything, but she was just emotionally fucked up. So, you know, a good woman still like really emotionally fucked up. So it was like, you know, if I didn't knock myself off that, you know, off of that positive pedestal, so to speak, somebody else would do it for me, and I would let them, you know, because I didn't really have the spiritual standing or wherewithal, mental, emotional, spiritual standing to stand up to it all the time. I just didn't have it. And you know, now that I'm an adult, it's like, you know, I'm much more in control of my emotions. You know, emotional regulation is like key, obviously, but also you know, I don't have anyone in my life to to even try, really, not to any, you know, success anyway, to mess me up. You know, now that I don't have those vulnerabilities, it's like, okay, well, now what? You know, it's like, okay, well, Lord, now what? Like, what does that mean? Like, all right, vulnerabilities, okay, now I don't have them, but now what? You know, I mean, that was a very clear answer to a very specific prayer, and I still don't know what in the actual is going on. And I feel like frustrated, but at the same time, I also know that life is a marathon, not a fucking sprint. But like, I'm frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm frustrated with the way that I live, and people say, well, go get a efficiency in Kentucky or something, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, I'm sorry, you're not hearing me, are you? Like, you're not, you know? And then what? Live in that fucking, yeah, I cannot. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Kentucky, but like, you know, really? Yeah. So, you know, it's just like basically from, I mean, an efficiency anywhere wouldn't really matter, you know? I mean, it could be in fucking Monte Carlo, and I still don't want to, you know, I don't want to live in an efficiency there. With my dog, no. She needs a whole yard. Like, you know, and that's that's a huge reason is because of her. That's why I want something better. Like, I mean, I always wanted something better, but like, I was, you know, like I said, I was always like kind of talked out of it in one way or another. So I would, you know, like settle for less. And like now, you know, I love her so much. This dog has saved my life multiple times over. And I really am not, I'm really not interested in just doing the half-assed, or, you know, like what I would have done for myself in the past, you know, like I don't want to do that anymore. That's not what I want. And you know, I'm just not going to settle. I'm just not doing it. You know, like I've thought I could go back to housing. There's like any number of things I could do. And I'm seriously just, those are shit options. They're shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they're crap. And that's not what I want. So no. And like, in the meantime, what are you gonna do, Rebecca? Well, that's a good question. I don't actually know. Don't know. No idea. Continue to keep my fucking head above water, I suppose, as best I can. I don't know. That like really shined that up. Dang, that's really pretty. I love crystals. They're so pretty. Not just pretty, but they're useful. And I like things that are pretty and useful are like the best, especially when they're natural. Is this thing dead? This, like, yeah, I think you died. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you died. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so, that's, there's a caterpillar chrysalis in there. Oh my God. It laid, it made its chrysalis in my crystal. I know you can't really see it, but it's in there. It's a here. See if I can, I have these really fine tweezers for my what do you call it? My resin, like crystal and resin work. It's in there. I don't want to dump it. See it? The brown thing? It's like a little moth or something. Alright, I'll keep you safe. You'll be fine. I won't hurt you. Put that back. So, but this crystal needs to be cleaned like really badly. But I'm not gonna do it while it's in there because I don't want to disturb it any more than I already did. I don't want it to fall. Or like fall out. This thing's probably gonna emerge pretty soon because it's been in there for a while. I've been carrying it around with me. I know, I must be fucking crazy, right? I'm carrying around a dog and a caterpillar or a moth chrysalis when I can't even really get myself out of my own bullshit. When you put it like that, or when I put it like that, anyway, this doesn't sound like a very positive message, and at the same time, yeah, you know, maybe, you know, I hope other people understand, or whoever this message needs to be for, it gets to them, because the point of this is like, you know, am I gonna give up? And like, there's a big part of me that kind of just wants to go, yep, you know, like it's time to just say fuck it and kick back and, you know, just, you know, do whatever, because, you know, life hasn't been good, life hasn't been kind. God, this car gets so dusty. You know, and people have been so cruel to me, gone out of their fucking way, way out of their way to be cruel to me, etc., etc. And like, honestly, it's kind of like, in spite of all of them, that I've stayed alive, just to piss them off. I'm not actually serious, but like, kind of, yeah, kind of part of my fucking revenge is that you have to know that I'm happier than you will probably ever be. That's my revenge for my enemies. And like, other than that, the Lord takes care of it, because the Lord says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And I believe that. I'm not saying I don't believe in justice. I totally do. I totally 100% do. And at the same time, revenge and justice are most often two very different things. I like fucked up my toothbrush. But you know, when you get to these points and you just hit the wall, you know, your dick's in the dirt, you're just done. You're just, stick a fork in me, I'm done, kind of thing. Take the time to be kind to yourself. Take the time to stop. Do not eat your bed. I think I might just lose my mind if you do. Yeah, thanks. You're the best ever. I love you so much. You still drive me crazy though. Your live boogies. And like, I really don't know what else I would tell anyone else. I don't know. I don't know even what to tell myself at this point, except to just, you know, take it easy. Take it easy. It's your birthday. Go on. It's your birthday. Take it easy. I don't know what else to fucking do or say. Excuse me. Because I don't really feel like there is much to do right now. You know, I'm very much a doer. I really, you know, like, feeling things for a certain amount of time is fine. It's good. It's healing and it's useful. But then, like, you get to a point where, like, I want to do something, you know? I want to do something. Do something, you know? Bring it into this reality. And that can be, typically that's where I've gotten frustrated in my life, is like I said before, I didn't have the resources to do it. So, that's where we are today. Me and my angels, my ancestors, and every fucking thing. Like, oh my God. So, like, you know, and the eclipse energy right now is so fucking powerful. It's so powerful. Not to mention the, you know, the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, a huge solar eclipse that's coming. I mean, that is some biblical shit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. That's wild. You know, like, how many cities? 7 cities named Nineveh? How many? What? 7? That's crazy. I mean, did they foresee? I cannot. I really, like, that's a mind bender for sure to even think about. How did that happen? I mean, prophecy is no joke. That's one thing I really like about the Bible, is prophecy in it. And those prophecies come true. Then that shit's real. And it's weird. So, I guess the guy next to me thinks that I'm talking to myself, so he's, like, going off right now, full on, like, crazy. So I guess he thinks we're both crazy. Whatever. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a blessed day. Fucking take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And yeah, that's all I got right now.